Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is James Moore, and we are here for another candid conversation with the author from More Books. We are here. The book is 27 Summers by Brother Ronald Olivier. We're so happy to have you all tonight. Feel free to leave questions and comments in the chat. We're going to get right to it. So, my brother, introduce yourself to the people and let them know all about you before we get into the book.
Yes, my name is Ronald Olivier. I presently work as a client advocate for the Louisiana Parole Project. We help guys who have done over 2 decades in prison. We help them make a transition to home. Since 2016, we have had at least about 480 clients, and I'm just proud to say that we have a less than 2% recidivism rate, um, which translates that when someone comes through our program from prison, it's more than likely they would never reoffend.
Good. That's
So
awesome.
so grateful for that.
That is awesome. Let me ask you this. Tell us about your family first.
Well, right now, I'm the proud husband of Tierson Olivier. Have a very beautiful wife. I'm very thankful for. I call her my better whole. She's not my better half.
That's right. That's right.
She's whole,
That's right.
and very thankful for. I have 5 beautiful kids.
That's good.
Four of them are my bonus kids, and
Good.
one I have a biological son. He's 3 years old. He'll be 4 next year in January, and
I,
just so grateful for that, man.
I could hear it
God
in your
just
voice.
God just hit the reset button for me, man, and just totally restored me, man. And I'm very, very grateful for that.
That's awesome. That is awesome. So I've been saying to myself that I'm going to tell him he didn't just write a book. You wrote a movie. Because in
Yes.
my digging into this thing, man, I was swept away. It felt like I was actually watching a movie in my
Wow.
head. That was awesome. You didn't miss a beat. I was thinking of questions that I could have asked you, and the context gave me the answer. I wonder why he said that. I wonder what happened with this. And a few words later, you spit it right on out, man. So
Wow.
this thing was complete to me. To the viewers, pick you one up. Pick you one up. 27 summers.
Yes, sir.
27 summers. Anything else you want to add before we because this
Let's
thing will get deep now.
let's jump into it. Let's go. Let's jump into it. I'm ready.
So what really inspired you to convert your experiences in Angola into a book?
Well, amazingly, in prison, I did a lot of preaching and teaching the word. You never share your story there. And when I got released, Pastor Jim Simler of Brooklyn Tabernacle was the
Right.
first one who just got me to come down to Brooklyn and share my story. And I shared it for the first time. And I began to see how it was helping other people.
Mm,
Never thought that in a million years that my story was worth something to be shared.
right.
And amazingly, that first time I was very transparent, and it liberated me. I was going through an experience too, because I was very transparent about the crime I had committed, and that was like breaking this street code that was innate
Right.
and built in me, because you never say what you did.
Right.
I don't care if they have you on camera. Look, it wasn't me.
Right. Right.
And so for me to share that, man, it broke something in me, and then I start to see how it was helping people every time I shared it. And man, but way before that in the cell, I really saw myself writing a book. And when I was on a missionary journey, I actually had wrote like 2/3 of my story and sent them home to different people in
Mm.
case I lose it. And behold, I lost it. And amazingly, they had lost it. and
Are you
so
serious?
and so I had to start all over, but which was
Wow.
good. I think that's how God wanted to be done. I think if I would have had what I had, it wouldn't be as good as what you're talking about, you know.
Hmm.
And so, man, just so grateful to just share my story with people. So I saw that if I can reach people in these settings like that, man, how much
Right.
more I can reach with a book. And
Right.
and a book is timeless, you know. I can see that, man. It'll be impacting people's lives way after I'm gone.
Right. Right.
Never know who will pick up that book and it will help
Right.
change their life. So it's timeless, and that's what really motivated me to do that.
That's good. That is good. Did you learn anything not pertaining to your experience that you were able to put in personally?
Oh yeah, from going through the process of the book you're
Right.
talking about. Yeah, just basically what I talked about, I learned about how it freed me
Hmm.
to share my story. That was very difficult, and so every time I share it, it's like throwing dirt on it, 6 feet under.
Yeah.
It's just another scoop, and I
Yeah.
get a little bit more freer and a little bit more comfortable. And every time I share it, man, it amazes me of how it impacts other people's lives.
Right. Right.
My story has not much to do with drug addiction, but I can remember a couple coming to me in Brooklyn, and
Hmm.
after I had spoke and said that, lady told me, she said, me and my husband have been on drugs 10 years.
Wow.
She said, and she had a husband with her. And she said, man, from your story, man, we believe God. If God can do that for you,
Right.
he could deliver us from off of drugs.
Right.
And I was just mind blown about that, how God would just use my story and just make it personal in other people's lives, you know.
Hmm.
And that's what I really learned. And man, here I am, 27 summers, you know. Don't
Wow.
tell me what God can't do.
I know that's right. I know
Yeah.
that's right. Um, I know you go to the prisons and minister to the other guys, but the Angola, do you actually go back to Angola and talk to the people who you spent time with?
Yes, in fact, part of my job is to go interview guys for the Louisiana program, Louisiana Parole Project, you know, where I work. And
Right.
so guys see me come in and man, and every time I go, I'm like filling hope buckets,
Right.
you know, because they know
Right.
me. I grew up there.
Right.
You know, I literally grew up there. When I went to prison, I was 5'11", 131 pounds. You
Hmm.
know, I'm nearly 6'2" now. You know,
Okay.
you know, and about two somewhere around there. We ain't gonna talk about that, but
That's
but
that
I
good
grew,
eating.
yeah, I literally grew up there, and man, and so when you grow, grow in that community, you get attached to a lot of people. They become your
Mhm.
family,
Right.
and
Right.
they knew that I had a mandatory life sentence without benefits of parole or probation.
Right.
That my sentence said that you would die there,
Right.
and I'm coming back in, interviewing them, talking to them, helping them, trying to help them make a transition. And man,
Right.
it's just beautiful. Only God can do something like that.
Only.
Only
Only.
God.
That's a miracle if I ever seen one.
Oh yes, yes, sir.
I-
Yes, sir.
In the interaction that you have with Mr. Jim, are you able to translate that from you to the guys on the inside? Are you able
Oh,
to be that faithful or give them that one shot?
definitely. And that's where it all started from. Jim Similar coming into prison
Hmm.
and doing a concert. He did a concert and he did a video, Miracle of Hope. If you can
Right.
Google that.
Right.
And there's an interview with me that they had, in Miracle of Hope, and that kind of just started me out with. And right now, I'm in the process of trying to get them to go in right now and do some more videos with
Awesome.
others, you
Awesome.
know, and just man, hopefully, they go down that same path, and man, God do some great things.
Yeah. You this could be a movie, man. I promise it
Yes,
can. I
yes,
promise
yes,
it can. Telling your story from your neighborhood, and even a lot of guys who aren't in prison, they can know not to head that way.
yes.
You know what I'm
That
saying?
that's that's
So
the whole point of the matter. That man, if I can stop one from coming or
right,
going to
right,
prison, man, job well done, job
That's
one.
that is it. Um, what it's emotionally deep, and it tug on you. It give you joy. It give you worry. Sometimes you might want to cry, and you get upset at the things some of the people said to you in the book. What do you expect or desire your audience to feel personally? Do you want them to
I
feel exactly what you felt, or
exactly what I felt, and I want them to grasp this concept from the book that, man, no matter where they are in their life, God can reach them,
right,
and man, He knows where they are,
right,
you know, and He can cause anybody in the world to know where they are, you know, and man, and if I can just generate that trust, that someone can, really have in God
mhm,
to really just let go and really let Him, just work in their life, man. Man, that's my goal, I just want people's hearts to be changed and
right, right,
seeing the God that I serve, man, as He's being real, He's personal, and He will restore you. He
right,
really loves you,
right.
He really cares about your well-being. He cares about right where you are. And if you allow Him, man, He'll change you. I believe one of the greatest principles in the Bible is the principle of sowing and reaping.
Hmm.
And
Most
if
definitely.
if if you sow change, you can reap change.
Right.
And so um I shared this with a lot of guys in prison, man. We want our situation to change, but we don't want change.
Right.
you know. But it's not till we change, God get our hearts and begin to rearrange it and change our mindset and way we think, then our situation will change, you
That's
know.
right.
Because then you're a better fit for society, man. There was a point in my life where I knew, man, if I would have went back home, it wouldn't have been right for me. I wasn't ready,
Hmm.
you know. And so there's
Hmm.
a point when you're ready, man, and man, it's just amazing, man. Just God transforming a heart.
Hmm.
If you could just think about that for a moment, God really rearranges a way a person thinks. It's not that I don't just do stuff anymore. He changed my heart. He changed my desires.
Right. Right.
I don't want to do it. I'm not even,
Right.
you can't, they got certain things you can't even tempt me with. I can't be tempted with,
Right. Right.
because there's no desire there, And so I'm
Right.
hoping, I'm praying that God can do those same things in other hearts who read my book.
All right. Does it discourage you that guys don't get your message right away? Because with your change, I'm gonna ask you, did it come from maturity or did it come from experience on the inside?
I think it came from both. Maturing in the word. It's just like when you're born again, it's just like in the natural, a little
Mhm.
baby comes out of the womb, it looks like what it came out of. It don't
Right.
come out looking like the little gerbil baby. Ooh, they
Yeah.
so cute.
Yeah.
We be lying, talking about, look at that baby, cute, cute. Baby look like a little prune, shrivel up.
Yeah.
And so it has to go through a process of being
Yes. Right.
clipped, being fed, being helped, being nurtured. And
Right.
so I had to go through that process until it actually looked like, what happened with me,
Right.
on the outside. And
Right.
so, man, it's definitely a maturity in Christ, but
Right.
it's also an experience too, you know.
Hmm.
Because I've experienced God. I like to say this, man. One of my professors said this. He said, a man with an experience is never at the mercy of a man with an argument.
Wow.
And so, man, there's no argument to what happened to me. I don't argue with people. I know what happened.
Right.
This
Right.
is not something I read in a book.
Right.
This is what I experienced. This is
Feelings.
my
Right.
life
Right.
experience. And so, man, so in that way, I think it's both, and I think it's both. And it doesn't frustrate me because I believe, just like the parable of the sowers,
Mhm.
in the Bible, when the sower begin to sow seeds, the historical setting is that the sword had on a little bag strapped across them with
Right.
seeds, and they would get to their back against the wind and destroy the seeds.
Right.
And it went on all these different grounds. And so he wasn't responsible where it went. He was responsible to throw the seeds.
Right.
And so that's my responsibility, in writing this book and sharing my message, just to sow seeds, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And God takes care of the increase, where
Right.
it goes and who hearts it changes. That's
Right.
on him. That's not my
Right.
responsibility.
Right.
And so it don't frustrate me, in no sense, if someone doesn't receive it, that's between them and God. My
Right.
responsibility is to throw the seed. Where it fall, that's between them and God.
That's
That
right.
makes sense? That makes sense?
That make plenty sense to me.
Yes, sir.
Your biggest change. Would you attribute your biggest change from leaving dorm D, going to J, or going to the dungeon?
Uh,
When you had to spend so much time alone, you refused to be broken, but you had the access to everything in D. You say it was easy for you, and that's what kind of got you. Everybody was about the same, getting going to church every day and Bible study and forming these
right,
groups.
right,
You went to J, you had to have discipline.
right. I
Yeah,
think, that's too big. Man,
that's
you
a
point out
good
two big experience, man. It is hard to choose between one.
right.
Let me say Camp D, um, that's where it really started to look like God did something in my life.
Hmm.
Prior to that, I still was doing some of the same things.
Right,
I
right.
still was talking the same
Yeah,
way.
like the cursing contest. That was
Right. Oh
funny.
yeah, I was a professional cusser. And man, I could not break that for anything. And man, I literally went to sleep one way and woke up another way.
Yeah, that's scary.
you know. And it was like about 2, 3 weeks later, I realized, man, hey, I haven't even said a cuss word.
Right.
God began to really just, in that point, I was diving in my word a lot. I was reading the Bible. Man, I was spending a lot of time in prayer
Mhm.
and worship, man. And man, he was literally changing me. To a lot of people who knew me was like, man, he losing his mind. He going crazy. And
Right.
and I was losing my mind. I needed
Right.
to lose it and gaining the mind of Christ. And that was phenomenal for me because I started to see the results of what happened to me in the holding tank two
Mhm.
years prior, you know. And man, that was pivotal, you know. But I think the Camp J moment was just as important
Right.
because it helped me to grow. It helped me to come down out of those clouds.
Mm.
And sometimes you can get stuck because I was doing a lot of great things. I'm on this
Mhm.
pinnacle in prison. I'm preaching, I'm teaching, I'm doing a lot of things. God using me, and then, man, all of a sudden,
Yeah.
like, man, what's going on? You know. And so I had to learn to trust God in those circumstances. Even if I didn't have all that going on. It's one
Mhm.
thing to trust Him on the mountaintop. That's easy. But what you gonna do when you get in the valley?
That's you
you
That's
know?
right. That is right.
And so that's where it really counts at. And so man, that's two great experiences, man, that you you brought out there.
I got a third one for you. I got a
Yes, sir.
third. So this wonderful life you have now with your faith and your family, wife and kids, and the experience that you put behind you, but you use it as a banner. That
Mm-hmm.
one day at that bus stop, would you change anything at that bus stop?
Oh yes, definitely. Because that's a life.
Hmm.
Because now I'm in a mindset where I value life.
Right.
And
Right.
that was someone's son. And it if I was ever remorseful, it's way on another level now because I have a son. Well, that changed everything.
Right.
Prior to that, I was remorseful. You got to come up with another word with what I am now. You know,
Right.
because, I have a kid, I hold him, I change him, I give him baths, I'm feeding him, I'm
Mhm.
spending time with him, and I think about the parents who did that with their son, who was once a baby,
Mhm.
you know, and man, if I can change that day, I would definitely would, man. That's a horrible, scary feeling just to think about losing my son, less than
Uh-huh.
losing him, to
Uh-huh.
the streets like that. And so, man, oh yes, 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 sir, I changed that.
Would you think that'll have any effect on your faith now, or you was just,
I I
how
don't
some?
know. I know God knows, you know, where to get you and how to get you and what
Right.
type of pressure you need to be
He
under.
know how to make you, no pun.
But
He know
yes,
how to sit down and get your attention.
he know how to do it. And so maybe there would have been other ways, but and we can go all that, we can just do a series of what
Yeah.
ifs,
Yeah. Yeah.
and wish I could change that, man, just for the sake of that mother, but and that family there. But man, it's amazing that God, He really can work all things together for the good, you know,
Right.
that
Right.
in spite of, and I think that's the heart of my story, that in spite of all that happened,
Right.
and it's horrific. That's no, I didn't go to prison for stealing bubble gum.
Right.
That's a serious charge I had, and I had to deal with that and face that, and I had took a life.
Yeah. You've been through so much, man. I really admire you and your story and your.
Now I just come from Brooklyn. Did my first book tour last 2 weeks ago.
That's good.
And man, it turned out great. I did the first service and shared, and then had a
Mhm.
book signing after. Did the second
Okay.
service. Was supposed to do a book signing, but couldn't because it sold out in the first service.
Oh, that's a good thing.
Yeah, that was a good
Yeah.
thing. And so they put the QR code up with my book, and which go to show you how God work it all together for the good. They put the QR code up, so everybody in the second service took out their phone and went to buying it then and shot the seals up at Amazon. I went to
Wow.
#1 new release
Wow.
in church leadership, and #2 bestseller in church leadership. So
That's
man, to
awesome.
God be the glory.
That is awesome. Ooh, goodness.
So I'm stopping next in December. I'm going to Buffalo. I'll be sharing my story with the Buffalo Bills and their locker
Oh,
room.
wow.
Yeah, and then doing a book signing with them. They already
Okay.
have the books. They already
What,
bought the
what,
books.
what I tell you what, when
Yeah.
you come down to Savannah or anywhere close, you know you got to get in touch with us. Let us know
Yes,
ahead of
sir.
time. We gonna get that thing worked out.
Yes, sir.
We gonna get that definitely worked out.
Yes,
Definitely
sir.
worked out. Let's get them a little time to get their hands on the covers,
Yes.
and we'll definitely be ready.
Yes. And
Most
so also I have coming up. I've been invited to the do a book signing for the 2024 Essence Festival.
Oh, wow.
So so I'm looking forward to that also, man. It's just,
Okay.
man, it's
Oh,
amazing, bro. I feel like I'm dreaming. You
I can only imagine. That's what I'm gonna say
know.
about that. But I'm telling you, this is a real live movie to me. Real
Yes,
live
sir.
movie. Are you ministering outside the church, or you just go to the prisons and
To
give
the
them Bible?
prisons and different churches and things like that. I've done some conferences and
Mhm.
um but anywhere, I'll be in Walmart. God tell me go talk to somebody, I'm going to talk to them. Ministry is
Right,
everywhere, and so
right. It is.
and that's my heart. That's not something I do. That's who I am. Yeah. And so I have to just share. And man, I was today at the bank with the bank teller, just sharing my story
That's good.
with the bank
That's good.
teller.
You gonna have to travel with 2, 3 cases of books everywhere you go, man. Because it's gonna catch like wildfire. Let
Yes.
me ask you this. I'm just gonna get back real serious.
Hmm.
For a book signing or a showcase, what would you have to say to somebody who's in prison now? I don't know if they allow you to bring the books in, or whether you could just start some and they check them out, or what. What would you say to them to make them interested in your book?
One of the things I would share with them is basically my story, and telling them how, how at one time in my life there was absolutely no light at the end of the tunnel. you know, but there was a light in the tunnel, and that's what I embraced, the light in the tunnel. And so I would share with them, man, no matter where they're at, no matter what their sentence say, no matter what the circumstances surrounding their case or what's going on with them, man, don't ever give up.
Right.
The trust God is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all you ask or think.
I know that's right.
Man, exceedingly abundantly above. We done heard of a double negative. That's a triple positive.
Right. That's right. That is right.
That's the type of God we serve. Who wouldn't want to serve a God like that? And so, man, I would just encourage them, man, no matter where you at, man, God is not a respecter of persons.
Right.
But he is a respecter of faith. He's just looking for somebody crazy enough to believe it.
That's it.
And that's why I'm out here, I'm standing here, I'm sitting here, because I believe what he said. I took him at his word.
And witness. And an example.
Promises, yes. And man, he is faithful to his word.
Right.
And I'm very grateful for that, man.
Awesome.
Very grateful.
It's awesome. Do you run into frustrations talking to the guys, trying to get, because some of them think they just lost. Some of them, I ain't got no hope. I don't have a chance. Usually Angola is 25 better. I got life. Getting out of here. They may not have the same circumstance that you had.
I never ran into that.
Okay, good.
Everyone is very very hopeful when I run into them, especially in Angola, because they knew me. One guy I knew, man, and didn't really know him real good, just knew him past and talked to him a few times. Man, he saw me and just broke out crying.
Wow.
He said, man, come here. And it was like he wanted to touch me just to see if I was real. Man, that's really, man, and just started crying.
That's from you telling a story, or he already had the book?
No, that's just for him knowing me and me coming back into the prison.
Wow.
Understanding my situation, seeing my walk and my relationship with God played out before him, and not see me coming back into the prison. This impact his life, and man, never got a person to feel like, man, God ain't gonna do that for me,
Right.
Because they knew me. And even in when I came home, I ended up being the director of chaplaincy at Mississippi State Penitentiary. And so I'm working in prison there. That's even worse than Angola. And so, man, but my story and my experience had guys' hearts open for me. I'm talking about, man, it was like God was using my story and my experience to corner them. They didn't have any excuse, And man, there's some great things there because of that, man.
Right. That's awesome. I want to this is a little off the subject. It just pricked my heart. I want to donate a few books to you when you go to your movement, or whatever camp you go to, whatever camp you feel like needed the most, and you can take that literature and leave it there, because something about hearing somebody speak and seeing them is good. But if you can leave them with that, and let them study that book, and when you come back, it'll have a greater impact. It might even inspire them to do more research, like he was in the library and the church and stuff like that. I want that. I want to help you out on your mission. So we'll get with that after this broadcast.
Praise God. Man.
I really appreciate that, man, and your time. I'm gonna see if we're gonna get some questions from the chat, but I'm gonna ask you how they can follow you first.
You can follow me at Ronald Olivier on Facebook. That's Olivier. And also I'm on Instagram as Ronnie Slim 75.
Yeah, I didn't want to bring that up. I was gonna call you Ronnie Slim before the night was over, man. That's my man. We cousins. You are actually related, man. I appreciate that, man. So
Yes, sir.
I'm looking. Nobody got nothing coming up. Somebody said that Ephesians 3:20 was their favorite. A triple positive. Yeah, that's a new one
Yeah.
on me.
Yeah.
That's a new one.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's good, man. Brother Ronnie, man, we thank you for giving us your time, the patience, and most of all your effort, because it was tough.
Man.
But,
My pleasure, man. My pleasure.
Give our graces to the family and your friends.
Yes, sir.
And we're going to keep you in prayer. You keep us in prayer. And we most definitely going to get together on this. We'll get ready with the information once we end the live.
Yes, sir.
Wait on anybody. Anybody got any questions for the good brother? Guess they satisfied, man. I got a lot of amens and my gods and black hearts and praying hands and everything. So
yes, sir.
You hitting them, but I want to tell the chat, y'all get this book because it's way deeper than this conversation, and you will be surprised. You will be. Don't let no pots burn on the stove. But it's hard to put it down. It is hard to put it down. Again, my brother, you got any last words?
Just want to thank you for having me, man. It's my pleasure, man. Years ago, I promised God, man, if you deliver me from prison, I'll tell it wherever I go, And so he did his part, and I'm just trying to do my part, man. And it's a blessing. So I really appreciate that.
That is awesome. I haven't had as tough as a time as you, but I had that moment. I had that come to God. I had that come to Jesus meeting. Lord, I don't know what it is you telling me to do, but I bow down, whatever it is. And things happen greater later, and I'm thankful for God for that.
Yes, sir.
I'm thankful for you for sharing your story. People want to know where can I get the book. You can go on More Books. I'm going to be sure to put that in the chat, www.morebooksllc.com. Do you have anything you're looking forward to doing? What's up next?
Oh, you've been saying it all night. It's
the movie.
It's the movie. It's
my God.
It's
Let
coming.
me get in the gym so I can be one of them security guards. I'm gonna be Big Blue. I'm gonna be.
It's coming, man. It's coming. It's coming. I don't know how. I don't know when, but I know who.
Okay, I know that's right.
It's gonna happen.
Come down here, why?
Yes, sir.
Man, I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you so much, so much. Thank you. If you ever need us, you got our contact info. Get in touch with us, man. We're gonna get together and we're gonna make this thing work.
Yes, sir.
All glory to God, man. I appreciate you.
Praise God, man.
Yes, all right, sir. All right. Have a good evening. We'll talk with you.
You too, brother.
All right. Thank you, brother. Good job.